Hey guys, what is going on? This is JJ here with another tutorial. This time it is going to be a tutorial on how to make a quality Call of Duty thumbnail. As you know, well actually as you probably don't know, I'm a thumbnail artist for AAH, Vengeance, and I did some for OP, and I did one for Doom, couple for the I have a lot of personal customers that I do thumbnails for. So a guy named Carnage Bazanka. You probably know who he is. He wanted a thumbnail. I will go to it now. He wants fast VKS drop zone chem. Okay, so you know it is on Call of Duty Ghosts, but he didn't tell me the map. So I'm just gonna. You have like a regular stock or something. I know it's a Black Ops 2 background. I'll just change it for your guys' liking. So go to Open, Libraries, Pictures, Jared's Editing, Pictures, Character, this one. I'll do this one. I know this is also Black Ops 2, but it's a sweet background. Just let it be. Okay. So you hold Shift, transform it, you get it out, so you keep the guy, the main part of the background normal. So you just keep him. Since he's the main part of the background, I'd like to center him, but you don't really see the background because of the text that's usually across. Sorry, my dad just texted me. Okay, so you don't really need to center this guy in the background because the text is going to be covering him, but I usually like him centered because he's the main piece of the background. It's just my personal preference. Okay, so if you want a color overlay on this, it has to depend on what you're going to have for the text and the gun. So I'm not going to put a color overlay on this. I'm just going to do the text here. Okay, so I'm going to start this out with let's say VKS chem. I'm just delete chem, and I'm gonna have a VKS as the main part right up at the top. Okay, so you have to center it. That looks usually snaps in, but that's not centered. Yeah, that's centered. Okay, so my settings for thumbnails, my drop shadow is opacity at 90, distance 0, spread 50%, and then size at a 40%. The reason I have spread at 50 is because I have a texture on the picture already, and it gives the text more jump. And with the texture, if you have a small drop shadow, it usually kind of faints out the drop shadow. It really doesn't. It kind of makes the text look flatter. So I like a big drop shadow on it. So for gradient overlays, I just have multiple styles. It's whatever I'm feeling, I guess. So, this one looks good. I like this one. Okay, so for me, with a dark like this, with a dark background, with a dark gradient or something, like a weird colored gradient other than this, like the main ones, and a lime green maybe. I just like using a white stroke on it. I have a gradient. I have a gradient for the stroke, and it's white silver. It's a white silver with a 90-degree angle. It's a white to silver with a 90-degree angle. So it goes up and down, and then the scale is at 100%. So just let it be. Those are mine. And then the distance is a 3, outside position. Inside position makes it thinner, and then center just doesn't really do anything. So I like to keep it at outside. And the blend mode at normal, just to keep it, and then opacity at 100. Yeah, at 100. So there we go. We have our main text. So for the bottom text, I would say chem strike. If I typed that out weird. If I typed it out right. Chem streak. Okay, so as you can see, it's a big text, but I want to have it big so I can shrink it down using the transform tool or Control T. And I usually just take the sides, and I think it looks cool when it's unproportionate like this. Like the distance, like it's shrunk up. So I don't know how to describe it. Like it's shrunk. I know it's a bad color to see it, but here, I'll do this. Yeah. So you can see the text is like shrunk up. It's angled. The italic. I like that style text better. And I usually just use the transform tool, not the font size up here. I usually just use the transform tool just to size it up. So I do the same settings for drop shadow, and then for different gradient overlay, whatever looks nice. So you want to go contrast kind of. I usually go with a white, like a very bright white to a very bright gray. Like a white to a very light gray, just to make that white kind of, and I just don't go a stroke on it, and then or I can do like another dark or another weird color with a stroke. But I'm feeling the natural, not really natural. Why am I clicking on that one? I'm feeling the natural like silver effect today, so I'm just gonna keep it silver with no stroke. And yeah, so there we go. We got the text down. Got the text for the thumbnail. We got the texture already. This is also a pre-made thumbnail template that I made. I have all the game logos. I have all the streaks. I have my background set out here. I have a shadow on the sides. I got this pattern, as you can see in the background along the VKS. You see in the background that shadow. And then I also have a map, and then I have a regular background layer. So anyways, so we're done with the text. Now on to the game, not the game logo, the streak logo. So the chem strike. So I'm going to take the chem strike, this one. And actually no, I'm going to take already this rotated one. I'm going to move that one down to here because I'm going to picture the gun right there. I'm going to have the gun right there. So I'm gonna switch up the hue and saturation on the chem strike to make the glow on his eyes red, or more towards the red of the text next to it. That looks about good. And then I usually just go on Google. And look up this should work. I don't know why it wouldn't work. My Google.com. Okay, so then I just search the gun, VKS, and then the game, COD Ghosts, and then PNG, because you want a transparent background for the gun. So I usually just go, that looks like a pretty good picture. I'll just have to see the size. I usually prefer like the gun like that. So if I don't like the pictures that they have, I usually just cut out the gun from that, or I just find a regular one. So this looks like the best picture we're going to get. So you go here. If it's a background, I go to view image, but it isn't a background. It's just a gun. So I just right click, save image as. It goes to the background. You go to your recent place where you did it. Guns, and then VKS COD Ghosts. Save it. Okay, so now we go to Photoshop, open, libraries, pictures, guns. Okay, so it's a V, so I gotta go all the way down. So VKS, COD Ghost. And then I drag it in. That's really big, so I gotta use transform tool or Control T, and then hold Shift to keep the perspective of the gun. So I think right there will be fine. I gotta drag it above the text, not the ChemStrike text, but the VKS text. So I keep the VKS there, and I usually double click on it to get the effect window. I'll move it over so you guys can see. I usually go drop shadow on that, and then if we're feeling good, we usually go gradient overlay of the text that was on there, of the text that's next to, and then with that I also do a white. And I just got done rendering something. Okay, so I know that doesn't look as good, so I'm going to take off the gradient overlay and I'm just going to keep the white there. So yeah, um, that's my thumbnail, and I usually erase the bottom of the gun so I get it behind the text more, to erase it without all the access. So I just keep it like that. As you can see clearly, VKS Chemstrike with the Chemstrike logo, VKS and the COD Ghost. So there you go, guys. Tutorial for you guys for the normal thumbnail. You can also add a sunburst, and I will tell you guys how to do that in the next thumbnail tutorial. A different style. So this is a COD Ghost thumbnail. So yeah, this has been JJ with a tutorial on thumbnails. See you in the next one.